If you're making a big change, how do you ensure that your employee population really understands the change and makes a smart decision for themselves or the family for the year?
So that I'll take a stab at it, Greg, and then you can come in. So I think the biggest thing, if there's a big change happening, that you really make sure that you're over communicating that change. So whether you're doing it in person, you're following up with an email, maybe then you're sending out short videos. I think repetition is key because otherwise people could really avoid just one meeting and not really understand it and then get hit with all of these bills later on because their plan has entirely changed or they selected the plan that didn't really work the best for them. So I think communication is key. I think other ways you could do it, to Greg's point, is you could kind of do some fun raffles, raffles for people being in meetings that stay. So you know they have to pay somewhat attention. So make it a gamified process. So there is a little bit more forced engagement because they believe they're going to get something out of it, but it's also really helping them understand what's happening.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm always a fan of gamifying. People love that. I think the other thing I'd encourage, survey. Survey the population, not too soon after OE, maybe a couple of months later. I haven't done a ton of this, candidly, for a lot of my clients haven't done a ton of this, but I think the more I think about it, probably the more we should. We usually, like to do it at the mid-year point of the year so that we could start doing some planning relative to the renewal and what changes to make that way. But it'd probably be a good idea to do a quick, brief survey, maybe following OE and getting people's feedback. And you could ask the question directly: how educated on your benefits do you feel? And see what kind of feedback you're going to get. It's not always the best answer, but at least it's real. And you can get something to kind of build off of. But I'd probably recommend that that's another kind of thing that you could do to gauge how well people are understanding the process.
And I think just to add one last thing to that is, like, if you can send, if there's calculators or tools that you have at your disposal that people can use and kind of put in, what they anticipate, that could really help them understand it as well.
Yep.